Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue.
For over 3 centuries, Hinckley has been a hosiery town. From the first stocking knitting
birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Welcome to HDPP Live on a Saturday night to the UK and around the world with photos, memories and friends. This is HDPP Live. How are you this evening? Are you all well?
Hinckley District has the present for you, meeting friends old and new. Streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays too, with founder members Paul and Sue. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP. Photos, memories and friends, helps a dreary night go by. Wearing Hinckley's 6 of the best, stupendous quizzical high. The smiles that we bring are a heritage thing. HDPP, keeping history alive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live, where local memories survive. HDPP, streaming HDPP live. Let's take you back in time, a community affair. We'll take you for a ride. Henson's cab will take you there. We're making history. HDPP, chat room applauses. History supporting local causes. Streaming HDPP live. Betty is our queen bee. The sweetest honey candy. Dangerous Den, here again, HDPP live. Hey, you know we keep it in HDPP.
There they go, and here we go again. Good evening, welcome along to HDPP Live. And come on, I want me cushion, missus. I want me whoopee cushion. Oh, I'm on it. Strange things happening already. Sorry about the false start, by the way. That was me, and I do drop clang, as you understand. Yeah. I thought I was ready to type in the chat box. Yeah, I did. Ready to type in the chat box, and then lo and behold, my cursor was in the wrong area of the screen, which meant all of a sudden things started going off, and I thought, I'm not doing that. Now let me just pick my chair up a bit. That's it. Oh, that's better. You can see my badge now because it cost me a lot of money. Right. Welcome to HDPP Live on this Sunday evening. It's great that so many of you freely give up your Sunday evening, fun and entertainment on terrestrial TV to come and join me What more can I say? It's great. And look at everyone's in the chat room this evening. Great to know that you are there. Let me just go to the top of the chat room for you and say, first person here was Daniel Coburn. Hi, Daniel. Hope you're okay. Followed quickly by Ian Roberts, of course. Hi, Ian. Trust things are well. Hope your dad's good as well. Anne Hunt. Hi. Hello. Kevin Beasley. Signing in from Burbage. The lights are on in Burbage, which I'm pleased about. That's nice. And Dave B. On his boat, yes. He says, I'm as quick as my computer allows. Well, that's okay, because we know that the pace on the canal is very slow. Kath Denny's here as well. Nice to know you there, Kath. Have you woken the old man up? Yes, okay, good. We've also got David Allen watching in Boston. Hello, Boston. And we've also got somebody in Skegness. I'll get to that in a minute. Also, let's say hello, good evening, Steve Gardner. Grandad's here tonight. Nice to know that you're here, Steve. Been a busy old day, sort of. Some of the grandchildren have gone home today, yeah. So, first thing after you've had a couple of pints under your dinner, and that's it. But we've had some great fun with the grandchildren this weekend, but we know about it now. When you're sort of crawling around pretending to be a lion, the old shoulders and the knees tell you, and then the old fool's got to try and get up. Yeah, there we go. Good evening to David S. Wishing everybody a good evening, of course, in the room. Russet's with us. Hi, Russet. Glad you've made it tonight. Because now Meet the Midwife is finished for another season. Wasn't it dramatic? We watched it the other night. We finally caught up with the last one because it's been finished a fortnight, but only just got round. It's amazing how time goes by. And you think, oh, I hadn't had a chance to watch that yet. And I don't watch too much in the line of TV in that respect. But anyway, never mind. Kit's here. Hello, Kit. Nice to know that you're there. I'm glad you just swanned by to say hello. And like I say, we had a little bit of a cock up earlier on, but that was me. But I don't mind a clanger being dropped here and there because I usually make the big ones there. Jeff Wallace is here. Hi, Jeff. Jeff. A split team tonight, I guess. Jeff is in Brig and Anna in Hinckley. It's almost like two-way family favourites, isn't it? It really is. Dennis Perkins was said he wasn't asleep last week. Now, this is true. I said, well, I think Dennis must be asleep, and I'd forgot. He were down in Devon, he was. Yeah. We have some lovely family in Devon, and hopefully we'll get down and see them. The Boundary Hotel, yeah. Not many people know how to find it either. But anyway, having said that, he said, I tried to tune in, couldn't get Maggie's equipment to work properly. Listen. I know. We'll have the same trouble sometimes, mate, yeah. Anyway, lovely. Also, let's finish saying hello to the chat room. And Kay Norton's here. Hi, Kay. And Dave Eggington in sunny Skegness. It's dark out there now, but I'm sure it was been a lovely day in most places, I understand. So there we go. Oh, Queen Bee's here. Julie Jeffcott is here as well. And also Pat Galloway comes in with a big cooey. You can always tell an HDPP member down Castle Street because you'll hear them going, cooey. Great. Lovely. So there's a big cooey for you all. And as I say, it's great to have your company. We've got a nice little programme lined up for you tonight. Not only do we have all the regular features, we've got a nose there. And we hope that Steve will join us a little bit later on for the nose there this week. Update you with things with him. And also, we've got 6 of the best as well as a local feature. That's what we've got lined up. So firstly, get your pens and paper ready because in a few moments' time, we'll be starting 6 of the best, don't we just always? Now, firstly tonight, we have an announcement to make. We do have an announcement to make. I'm trying to see if I've got the sound effect for it, actually. Wait a minute, where is it? Oh, that's the wrong one. I used to have dramatic, but I can't see it at the minute. Oh, here it is. Here is our shock announcement. The Kirbys and the Crops are not in tonight, so say what you want about them. No, they got a better offer from David Essex, apparently. So they're off to see David Essex. Well, the girls are, apparently. The boys are staying in the bar. So if you want to slate them off, You can do it safely tonight. No problem there. So the Crops and the Kirby's not with us tonight. There you go. But they will be here for our social night, which I'm pleased about, because some people are going to the theatre. Oh, it's a headache. But listen, let's get through all the things for our social night. Please, please, please come along to this, because we've got a double bill. We don't want people to miss this. This is great. King Richard III, from villain to hero. Our guest speaker is Eddie Smallwood. And he's done this. He's done several talks, and I thought, oh, this one will be a good one for us. So, and this is also then going to be followed by Annabelle's Stupid Deaths. Yes, the granddaughter of Dangerous Den will be doing part 2 of the night. So you see, I've packed a great night into it. So I'd really love to see you there on that night, particularly when we get a guest in. I'll do like to try and fill the place out best we could, because I look very silly sitting on my own. I really, really do. Gary Betterley says about the Kirby's and the Crops, he says, is he going to make them a star? Well, there you go. It's a good thought, Gary. Glad you're here tonight. Let's just remind you, if you haven't already, our night with Joseph Barsby, it's just shy of a month away now. And this is going to be, once again, our yearly annual date, really, in the diary. Come along and spend an evening in the company of David's his dad, Joseph Barsby, and the G-Seller team. On Tuesday the 4th of April, as we've said many times, it's a very relaxed, splendid little evening. It really, really is, with a full question and answer session and a full tour. And that the team around there they're so proud of what they do, and it'd be nice if you join us, because you will not fail to be impressed. Simple as that. Anyway, good evening, Clive Armstrong. Also, I've got to remind you, we are scanning on Saturday coming. Now, also, if you want to get your tickets for the Sellers evening, we will have them, because the tickets are free. We just need to dish out tickets. It's just for numbers, you see. Tickets are free. We will have them with us, indeed, at the scanning session on Saturday at St Mary's Church, or we will have them with us on our social night. Okay, so we've got the scanning session first next Saturday, and then the following Wednesday for the social night we'll have them there too. You can have as many tickets as you like, as long as you know you're going to come, then that's absolutely fine, no problem at all. Okay, now you've all sitting there comfortably sitting. Have you got your pens and paper ready? We are ready for 6 of the best. And this is where I always tell you, remember, don't put your answer in that chat room just there, because people nick your answers. So hang on to your answers. Yes. Clutch them with both hands and hang on there. Oh, Elaine Galloway wants to come to the Sellers Night. We'll make some arrangements about that. I know that little Jane wants to come as well. Yes, we've still got a few tickets left, but we need to get them sorted. But yes, Elaine, you are welcome. Right, okay then. So here we go with 6 of the best. Don't put your answer on in the chat room. People nick them. Let's see whereabouts I'm going to start in this. Right, here we go. Question number 1. Now, what did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? That's a bit of an... Wow, that's a... Yeah. What did Princess Road, Duke Street... Because now Duke Street is now Southfield Road, just in case you don't know. What did it lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? Oh, clever little question there, Mr. Gardner. Even if I say so myself, that is question number 1. Question 2. This is your general knowledge. Only two mammals enjoy spicy foods. Humans and... Is it a pangolin, an armadillo, or a tree shrew? One of them is a correct answer. But what is it now? Try not to cheat by going onto Google. See if you can give your grey matter a bit of an exercise. One of them is the correct answer. We'll come back to that very, very shortly. Question number 3. True or false? A snail can sleep up to a month. Did you know that? Is that true? Is it false? There you go. Give it a minute. I could believe that, but is it true? Okay, moving on to question number 4. Guess the year. Some of you should be able to get this. Food rationing in Britain ended when restrictions on the sale and purchase of meat was lifted. But what year was it? One of them is the correct year when we were finally out of rationing. It's another. You at the back, stop Googling. I can see you. Yes, you. Don't look like that. Take your hands off that keyboard. Pay attention. Right. Where am I? Here we go. I am somewhere in Hinckley. Where can I see this little bit of stonework? And the best of it is you can walk past this place without even noticing it. It's been a long time since I used it. Yes, Daniel, exactly. You can see this particular bit. You can walk by it without noticing it. And I haven't used this picture for quite a while. But it's there, still there today. Very interesting symbols there. But where can you see that? Somewhere in Hinckley. Trust me, you can still see it. Right. Are you ready for the anagram? Here we go then. The haniogram question tonight. Fetch Torah's tachometer. Do you know how long it takes me to think of these? Fetch Torah's tachometer. That's it. Rearrange that. It'll give you a pub in a village not that far from Hinckley. Mrs. G has cracked it in the end. I've let her work it out tonight, so if it was wrong, she could give me 20 lashes with a wet woodbine before we aired it. But it is right. She confirms that it's right. Fetch Torah's tachometer. I'll leave it on the screen in a moment so David Blower can get all the letters down. And because his connection is very slow, we have to leave it on that little bit longer. Fetch Torah's tachometer. That is the anagram. We're looking as usual for a pub and a village. I guarantee it, you get the village, you get the pub. It is that straightforward. Okay. Good grief. I know. Fetch Torah's tachometer. Lovely one. Okay, so that's your 6 of the best. I'll quickly go through them one more time. What did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? Question 2. Only 2 mammals enjoy spicy foods. Humans and, is it a pangolin, an armadillo, or a tree shrew? Number 3. A snail can sleep up to a month. True or false? Ooh. Question 4. Food rationing in Britain ended when restrictions on the sale and purchase of meat was lifted, but what year? Read the question carefully. Is that trick one? One of them is the correct answer. Question 5. Where am I in Hinckley? Where am I in Hinckley? Where can you see that bit of stonework? And question 6. Fetch Torah's tachometer. Rearrange that for a pub and a village. Get the village, you definitely get the pub. It really is like that. Okay. Right. Okay. So we'll come back and look at that in a little while. So Sunday night, as I say, it's there's nothing on, let's face it. And is it you or is it me? Maybe it's me. I'm a little bit fed up with the Gary Lineker stuff. Whatever your thoughts are on it. Keeps going on, that does, my word. However, Daniel Coburn says, I don't know about a snail sleeping for a month, but I could at times. Nice one, mate. Good one. Okay, right. Our feature this evening, we're going to go and have. We're going to look at entertainment in the town. It's been a while since we showed you this one, but we're going to show it in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2, because it lasts for 30 minutes. We're going to do 15 minutes tonight. Made by the late Stuart Watson, and covering all sorts of entertainment in town, from the Concordia Theatre to the Century Theatre to the cinemas and stuff. But we're going to split it over 2 weeks for time reasons, of course. So sit back and enjoy 15 minutes worth of entertainment, or otherwise known as Curtain Up.
Most towns, similar to Hinckley, have at least one distinguishing feature of which they are proud and makes it a town of interest, and Hinckley is no exception. Its pleasing street markets, chartered in 1322, attracting many visitors, and its strong industrial fame of the 19th and 20th centuries have now been reformed to give us the unique feature with the Concordia Theatre, a Hinckley citizens' home of entertainment, which provides a continuous programme of events covering a wide range and variety of productions, from light entertainment, opera, drama, pantomime and dance, and the necessary accompanying restaurant and bar facilities. Of course, there has always been the connection with drama, etc. in the schools of the district, together with their own assembly halls, and additionally the local churches and chapels and community groups. The combination of all these various societies of entertainment and cultural education have given to the town a richness of activities for the locals to either participate or be entertained. In many books and writings there are references relating to theatrical performances in the area from as early as the 1300s, mostly from travelling repertory groups to strolling music hall shows. And one of the earliest physical pieces of evidence is in the churchyard, with this tombstone which has inscribed, "Here lieth interred the body of William Burton, comedian, who departed this life May the 2nd, 1774, in the 42nd year of his age, a member of one of the travelling groups." He no doubt performed in the new theatre, a wooden building which was situated behind these two houses in the borough, passing up through Blake's Yard, now the site of the United Reformed Church. In this same theatre, August the 27th, 1800, saw the production of Richard III, also performed by a travelling repertory company. During a full house performance in this theatre in 1804, it's reported that the gallery collapsed and some unfortunate spectators ended down in the pits. Fortunately, no serious injuries were recorded, but a similar structural collapse occurred again in 1835. Many venues are reported where travelling companies performed, amongst which are sites opposite to the Sweet Pea on Coventry Road, and also the small building to the rear of this establishment was used by both professionals and amateur groups late in the 19th century and early on into the 20th century, and Michael Roberts, an acknowledged local historian, refers with some brief details.
That is correct, yes. In the early years of the 20th century, these touring companies, and one of them was called Sammy Rayner's, and that one played on the Old Orchard. It was set up, it was a travelling theatre, on the Old Orchard in front of the Fox Yard. And then there was another one, or another two, Balmore's and Thomas's and Harris's. And they played on the site on which today the new Plough Inn is situated in Leicester Road.
Amateur companies were also staging ambitious performances in 1923. An enormous cast put on Gluck's Orpheus in the Underworld on the Castle Hill grounds, which is where today is the Co-op car park in Hill Street. And in 1924, the very serious Caractacus. Percy Powell, a local schoolmaster and keen amateur musician, was the normal musical director of the day. Prior to 1900, or around about that period, entertainment was either in the home or in a theatre or connected with the church or school. Because we didn't have television and certainly not radio either.
No.
So when were the first things in Hinckley then that came about?
As far as the cinema is concerned, it was actually on the 4th of July 1910. Was the opening of what was called the Electric Picture Palace. Now this was St George's Hall in the marketplace. It was Hinckley's introduction to moving pictures on a commercial scale.
Now that's my fault again, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise. I was just going to type, please. Oh God, this is terrible tonight. I was just going to type, please remember to like. And of course, I wasn't in the chat box again. And what did it do? Of course, it changed the scene. Seriously, I am so sorry about that. I can't believe it. I was just saying, I better tell them to like and subscribe. Oh, so what I'm going to do while I'm talking to you, bear with me one moment. I'm hopeful that I can get the so said feature. I don't even know whether I can get it back or not now. It's not playing. It's not playing very well, actually. Oh, never mind. Listen, we're just making this up as we go along. How are we doing with 6 of the best? I can't believe, actually. I don't believe it, that I can't actually show you that film. Let me just try. I'm going to try one more time. Let's see whether it's going to work or not. But this is a bit of a nuisance, and it's very embarrassing because it would appear that it doesn't want to play again now. So it's fell out with me. However, we can continue. But don't you just love things that are live? You see, that's one good thing about this. With things today, everything's recorded. And when it's recorded, it's no fun. But you see, when I cock up big time, you see it. Yeah, you catch me with my turntables down. You really do. So much for trying to give you a nice feature. Now, what I'm going to try and do, I don't know whether this will work. So this is going to be fun. Let me now see whether I can get it to go. The chances are you're going to see a blank screen. Let's have a look. Oh, it's starting. It is working. Here we go now. Bearing in mind, I'm now going to try and get you to where we were in where we should be right at the very beginning. Okay, now then, let's see. I'm pressing all the right buttons. Let's see whether it's going to work.
Most towns,
Yes, we
similar
know
to
that.
Hinckley, have at least one distinguishing feature of which they are proud and makes it a town of interest. And Hinckley is no exception. Its pleasing street markets, chartered in 1322,
Right.
attracting many visitors.
We are now
and its
jumping
strong
forward a few
industrial
minutes.
fame of the
Here
19th
we
and
go.
20th.
Secretary companies and touring musical
Oh,
companies.
lovely.
And then the theatre became known to the people of Hinckley as the Borough Theatre, purely because it was in the borough. But by 1914, Hinckley people had really then got a taste for the cinema. And the proprietors of the Hinckley Theatre, now having renamed it the Hinckley Theatre and Cinema, now decided that the town could accommodate a further cinema. And they took a lease on a building in New Buildings. That road was originally called Grimm's Lane. And this building had originally been the Drill Hall. When they took the lease, they renamed it the Palladium. And this opened on the 16th of September 1920 with a very famous silent film, Lillian Gish in Broken Blossoms.
But of course, was a lot of live performances went on as well, mixed in with the
Oh,
cinema.
there was. To a large extent, they would have been touring companies that came into the town, and many of them would be tented touring companies. For instance, one did set up occasionally on where we know the bus station is today, and that was owned by an actual lady, that one did. And then there was also another very famous one called Liverses, which was the father of the famous screen actors Roger and Jack. Probably Roger was more famous than Jack. And when they were in town, Roger and Jack, they both went to St Mary's School in Station Road.
These fascinating adverts from the Hinckley Times illustrate the regular use of the Drill Hall for many and varied amateur performances. The blood-curdling drama, Freezing a Mother-in-Law, was performed by this group who travelled all the way from Ashby. Not an easy journey in 1913, and the Hinckley Amateur Panto was going then. Gilbert and Sullivan, still as popular today in the 21st century, had started to register its mark in musical comedy, with many local names appearing which became well known. Along with 6 single-reel silent films, this special engagement of McClave's, a refined comedian.
February of 1928, the Hinckley Times and Guardian, as it was then called, the local weekly paper, printed plans of a new cinema and theatre for Hinckley. This would be on the corner of Lancaster Road and Rugby Road. And the new theatre was going to be called the Regent. And this did actually open on the 11th of March 1929. With a live show on the stage called Ambrose Applejohn's Adventures. I don't know what it was about, but I wish I'd seen it because I rather like the title. But it was put on by one of the Hinckley amateur groups, and all the proceeds went to the local Hinckley Cottage Hospital, as it was then known as. But the first films to be shown there were on the Wednesday of that week, on the 14th of March, and this first film was The Student Prince, starring Norma Shearer. It was the silent version because Sal hadn't yet arrived, not in
Norma
England.
Shearer in a silent
Oh
version?
yes, she made silent films before. Most of us think of her as a sound actress, but she was appearing in
How
silent
wonderful.
films. Yes, yeah. Yes, so during 1935, the cinema was closed, the cinema in the borough, for major alterations because they built a brand new auditorium on the Trinity Lane side. And the original theatre now became the foyer for the new theatre. In 1936, the building was sold to the Oscar Deutsch organisation and became known then as the Hinckley Odeon. They say that Odeon actually stood for Oscar Deutsch Entertains Our Nation.
Wonderful.
Well, it is. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it certainly fits in quite nicely.
It does indeed.
Now, during the 1930s and early years of the Second World War, the Hinckley Amateur Operatic Society presented a number of shows on the stage of the Regent Theatre. The stage was quite large. It measured 60 feet by 30 feet, and there are a number of good dressing rooms at the rear of the stage.
Now 65 years on, Joyce Norris re-enters the present-day Regent Theatre and reminisces of those years gone by.
Joyce, can you hear this music?
I certainly can.
And what does it come from?
No, none here.
No. And you took the leading role in this,
Yes,
didn't you?
I did.
You
Yes.
were, Nanette.
I was Nanette.
This
yes.
must bring back some very happy
Yes.
memories
Yes,
for
it
you.
does. Yes.
You did quite a few other shows in this hall as well,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yes.
What else?
Good night, Vienna.
Oh,
And I can't think of the other.
never mind. It's a long
It's been a
time.
long time
It's been
ago.
a long time ago, isn't it?
Test my memory.
Yes. It's beautiful music.
It is.
Do you remember in the finale when you took your bow? Let's see how you did it.
I don't remember.
There we are.
And this cinema was the Danilo, and it opened on Monday the 26th of July 1937. And the opening film at the Danilo was This Will Make You Whistle, starring Jack Buchanan. During the war years, the three Hinckley cinemas were the mainstay of entertainment in the town. Many young men and women who were members of the various Hinckley amateur theatrical groups had now been called up into the forces. That is not to say that live performance did not take place in the town, because I remember many performances being put on by Monica Mason and her Sunbeams.
What a wonderful name to remember.
It
as
is,
well.
isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
And there must be many ladies in the town today who, when they were young girls, performed in this very, very
Monica.
popular group. That's right.
So that you were saying, Monica, that this particular one was when you were doing performances with your schools at the Danilo Theatre.
Yes, we performed the Red Shoes because the film was going to be shown.
Right.
And these were two of my students, older students and more advanced than the others. And we did the ballet of the Red Shoes on the stage.
The one of your choirs
Yes,
at the Danilo.
I had a very lovely choir, and these were all in Scottish attire.
Various photographs of shows that were put on in the Albert Road Methodist.
Yes, these were the little fairies, the snow fairies, and we always tried to put them on early in the performance because they had to go home.
That's right.
These were the principals in the show, Brian and Susan, who was Aladdin. This was a visit to Hawaii with our magic lamp, and most of these were sisters, and sitting on the front is Terry, now Bevington, and her sister, who lives in America, I think.
Now, you also had 3 or 4 different bands.
Yes.
Mostly accordion bands.
Oh, they were all accordion
All
bands.
accordion
Yes, and we always entered the competitions musically, and we won the Great Britain Championship.
The Great Britain
And,
Championship?
Yes, we won the Great Britain Championship, and my daughter still plays the accordion and has a band of her own now.
Hinckley Odeon closed on the 3rd of June 1961, and the following year the building was totally demolished. And in its place today we have what was a brand new building, which of course is the Building Society office.
Ah, yes, yes.
The Regent Theatre, which had 2 changes of name, at one time it was called the Isolde and then the Gaumont, closed on the 30th of June 1968. Thankfully, the building is still there. Today it is Flutter's Bingo Hall. The Danilo also had a number of name changes. At one time, that was also called the Isolde, not at the same time as the Regent, and then it became the Classic, and finally, when it closed or was closing, it was called the MGM Classic, and that closed on the 6th of May 1993.
Quite a sad day, really.
Oh, it was. I did go, actually. It was then a 3-cinema building. They converted it into 3 cinemas, and the cinema I sat in on the last night was packed. And it makes you wonder why they closed it down, but perhaps it was all nostalgia why we'd gone to pack it.
Designed and built in Hinckley, the Century Theatre, now permanently residing at Snipston Discovery Park, has spread the name of Hinckley throughout the UK. And here reminiscing is Armine Robinson, at one time the first female BBC newsreader, who also one of the actresses to perform in the first play in the Century Theatre. Here we are in the Century Theatre. I believe that you got all the story from the days of the travelling company, the Adelphi, arriving in Hinckley in 1945, met up with John Ridley.
That's right, yes. John Ridley was working as chief engineer at Sketchley Dye Works, and he was absolutely crazy about the theatre. But he'd realised how difficult it was for actors travelling around, not knowing where they were going to lay their heads at night, and different sized stages, so he designed a theatre on wheels. And he went to see the Adelphis and set up their stage a bit more satisfactorily in the Working Men's Club. And he showed them his designs.
How wonderful.
And they all said, my goodness, that's wonderful, let us know when you've done it.
Yeah.
And Wilfred Harrison was marooned by the snow at the end of 46 in Hinckley, and he met up again with John, and they discussed it virtually all day. And it ended up by John saying, well, you're out of work. He'd finished his tour with Compass Players, and he said, if you get the money, I will build it. And Richard said, you need some sponsors, so they got some quite famous people like Sybil Thorndike, and that represented the theatre, and a headmistress from somewhere in Wales, and the Dean of Worcester, that represented the established church, so it was all above board. And Will wrote to the Arts Council, which was then called CEMA, Council for the Encouragement of Music and the Arts, and they said the whole idea is preposterous. It's mechanically impossible, financially impossible, and artistically impossible. We're not going to waste our money. And the special thing about the travelling theatre was that all the actors had their own bed sitting rooms and kitchen and dining room and bathrooms and office, and it all travelled with the actual building, which is this.
But of course, John, having been the chief engineer of the Sketchley Company at that time, he was obviously an accomplished engineer, and the techniques of being able to assemble a theatre like this fell within his bounds quite easily. But you say that there were many people paid for the seats.
Yes, they were sponsored by many famous actors. He got in touch with Roger Livesey, who was a very, very good actor, who'd been a touring player in his youth. And Roger Livesey found many, many important people like Laurence Olivier, Margaret Fontaine, Joyce Grenfell, Enid Blyton, Ronald Coleman sent a cheque from New York, from his Hollywood, to say I'm booking my seat now, and they paid 15 guineas to endow a seat, and originally all their names were on the backs of the seats.
How lovely, how lovely.
And a lot of local people helped as well.
Now, in fact, the theatre itself was built, I believe, very close to the old water tower in Hinckley.
Yes, virtually underneath the water tower, but not underneath the ground.
Yeah, but its first complete assembly, I'm given to understand, was in an old hangar somewhere.
At Bruntingthorpe.
At Bruntingthorpe,
Yes,
Bruntingthorpe.
and it was taken over one by one. As each trailer was finished, it was towed over by one of the ex-RAF Crossley tractors. And they are members of the Adelphi Company who were then out of work. They'd lost their grant, they painted it. And it was all assembled in the hangar at Bruntingthorpe.
And of course, it contained living accommodation for each and every one of the casts.
Yes.
And also the backstage staff and everything.
All the technicians. There were several people who didn't act at all. Our chief engineer was a coach builder and helped build the theatre. And
So-
my man who became my husband, who was an electrician,
Yes.
he was the stage electrician and
Right.
also ran the generators. They came as well. We all had
Of course,
accommodation.
you generated your own electricity.
We did. We had
power.
2 generators.
That's
One
right.
was very noisy. They're both called the Thumper.
And then I believe that the project basically started in about 1948, and it took to the first performance in 1952.
29th of September, 1952.
And what was that first performance?
Othello.
Othello, and I believe you performed it.
I was Bianca and a page boy, and I put on the music. We had turntables up there before tapes, before all these marvellous, wonderful sort of modern science. But there were 2 turntables. I had to shin up a vertical ladder, and the lighting board was that side, up a vertical ladder.
Well, this is a lovely story for theatre in Hinckley.
It certainly is.
Eileen Derbyshire, Emily Bishop in Coronation Street, actually commenced in Hinckley as a scene mistress before getting her opportunity in Twelfth Night in 1954. It has become well established, and having opened in 1972, is now in its 31st year and is continuing to stride forward, not only with its team of managers, but also with its vast team of unpaid and unsung voluntary workers who are regularly supporting and freely working, mostly in the background, to keep this venture going. The general public are obviously aware of the front of house staff being on show at all times, selling programmes, ice creams in the interval, drinks in the bar, showing patrons to their seats and generally ensuring satisfaction to a pleasant evening. The army of unseen workers, mostly retired, spend Wednesday mornings putting in their physical efforts, utilising the skills they have developed during their working life, helping to maintain the complex up to its highest standard. Having commenced as a single building, during the early years the opportunity to buy the adjacent premises to the rear became possible, and this gave the chance to provide substantial workshops for scenery preparation and also rehearsal rooms and coffee bar. In 1988, the invaluable extensions to the stage area took place, giving additional flying facilities, large areas of wing space at each side of the stage, which is the envy of many professional theatres. Where possible, mechanical aids have been installed, assisting in the smooth running of a modern theatre. The constant need to update with modern computer technology for lighting and sound has been installed when feasible. Because of the support and excellent productions from the many performing societies, which has stimulated an enormous following of regular paying patrons, the theatre management are able to continuously review new additions and improvements.
It's a great community place, and it's a wonderful opportunity for people of all ages to exercise their interests and their skills. The way that they come together as performers, technicians, craftsmen, bar people, front of house services and so on, and the way it all interlinks and interlocks almost seamlessly.
Cover most of the things involved with theatre, but there are so many different little groups doing drama, operatics, musical shows, dancing schools, and indeed the music festival. But of course, we mustn't forget the pantomime. This little snip just shows that you don't have to be on the stage to be part of theatre. You've got a bit of a record, you know. 39 consecutive years dressing a dame in a pantomime.
I have, yes.
And what year did you start?
1964.
And then in 1974, of course...
Came to this theatre, yes.
Down into the concourse.
That's right, yes.
And you've never missed a show?
No.
And I believe that you made one appearance.
I did, yes. I come up through the trapdoor onto the stage when Roy Johnson was Dame, just to frighten him, put him off, you know.
Oh, he wasn't expecting you?
Oh, no, because I was his dresser, you see. And this other chap used to come up, but this particular night, he sent me up. Well, that done him. Yes.
And all you do is dress the dame?
Dame. Well, one or two girls and all, if they're in distress. Generally have 14.
But there's only 10 in this show.
Well, if it wasn't you, who would be?
And there we go. I'm sorry about the cock-ups through that presentation, ladies and gentlemen. This is a live show. What more can I say when things like this happen? And so I decided while that was running, I thought, look, time out. Go and get yourself a cup of tea, a glass of water and calm down. Leave the people alone. Daniel Coburn says, we must get more clips of you on the stage. I mean, things really that desperate now. And anyway, we want to see that walk you do. Oh, my word. We'll save that for some time, but we will do that again. Good evening to Steve Picker. Mr. Noser has just joined us. Nice that you're here, Steve. You're just in time because we're about ready to have a nosy with you. But first, we have, of course, 6 of the best. And this is another chance in case you're just late getting in. And if you've just joined us, by the way, you've missed 2 wonderful cock-ups. Is it 2 or is it 3 tonight? About 3, I think. So... yeah, you'll have to go back on catch up and find it. Let's do it. 6 of the best. Here are our questions tonight. We started off with question number 1. What did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? Oh, don't put your answers in the chat room yet. People will nick them. Okay. Right, question number 2. Only 2 mammals enjoy spicy foods, humans and... is it a pangolin, an armadillo or a tree shrew? Well, one of them. It's true. So we'll wait and find out and see what the answer is at the end of our nosy tonight. Now, is this true or false? A snail can sleep up to a month. Is it true? Is it false? Right. Guess the year. Food rationing in Britain ended when restrictions on the sale of the purchase of meat was lifted. But what year was it? Question number 5. Where am I? I am somewhere in Hinckley. And you can see this, okay, it's up high, as you can see, it's on the roof line, but where can you see that particular bit of stone decoration? There's 2 of them, actually, that's just 1. But where in Hinckley is it? You'll find out at the end of the programme. And finally, the anagram question this week, fetch Tora's tachometer. Fetch Tora's tachometer, if you would please, she's got a journey to do. You will find, if you find the village, you've definitely find the pub. It's as simple as that, okay? See how you do with that, okay? So we'll come back with the answers and stuff after we've had our nosy. Now, I just want to say, without making a big thing about it, thank you on behalf of Steve for all the supported messages of support. He had a little bit of a, he had a keyboard warrior, let's put it that way. But Steve's over it now, and for one, I know how it feels, Steve, when you get that sort of negativity thrown at you. But I was delighted to read that you're going to keep doing your noses, and rightly so. And because you're such a fixture here in the programme, so we want you to keep doing them anyway. And I know that everybody in the group supports you and what you do, and say don't let these people that hide behind their keyboards, and I've got a limited vocabulary of probably about 25 words. Sums it up really, mate. It does. Okay, right. While Mr. Nosy is greeting his fans there in the chat room, as you can see down there, look. Oh, down there, look. It's all happening down there. We've got our Nosy this week with our Steve, so settle back and enjoy another Nosy with our Steve.
Hello, hey up and hey diddling, my name is Steve and once again it's a great big warm welcome from myself to Let's Explore. Right then, so in today's video we're gallivanting about in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, quite literally, looking at this old farm that I've named for the purpose of this video, Piano House Farm. That isn't its real name of course, but if I give you its real name it's going to give the game away as to where it is, isn't it? Because it was quite refreshing going to this place. There were no graffiti or anything. But before we proceed any further in today's video, I'd just like to thank someone. Now I'm not going to give his name away because you'll all be messaging him and asking him where this place is, but he got in touch with me and he gave me the location and what have you to this place. So if you're listening, buddy, if you're watching the video, thank you very much, mate, very much appreciated. Right then, so off we set on a 60-mile plus journey from northwest Leicestershire. And you may be thinking to yourself, why go at night? Well, there are two reasons really. The first one is the roads are so quiet, so you're cutting your travelling time right down. There was hardly anyone on the roads at this time of the night. And the second reason is we just love gallivanting about in the dark. Well, I do, that's for sure. The only problem with doing it in the dark is you sometimes give your location away and give the game away because people can see your torchlight. But the best thing about this place was, because it was really, literally in the middle of nowhere, there was no one around, no near neighbours really, to be honest. I mean, the nearest farm was a good distance away. And the great thing about this location, is because the location is so sparsely populated, there's hardly any light pollution at night whatsoever. So it really is pitch black. It was fantastic. So eventually we actually arrived at his location. Very cold night as well. The stars were out, not a cloud in the sky, to be honest. And when we pulled up not far from the farm, we parked in a little lay-by. Now when we got there, I actually parked behind a small white van. There were no one in the van. And I said to Dave, I bet these are here having a nosy at this farm. Now, sure enough, we started walking up the deserted farm track. And I said to him, switch your torches off, I can see lights in the distance. And it looked like, to me, there may have been 2 or 3 people walking around the farmyard. Now Steve said, I reckon they're distant lights. I says, yeah, but they're moving, look. I can see them moving, and it looked to me like they might have been doing a bit of light painting of the buildings like Dave does sometimes, when we're in tunnels to get that effect. Anyway, I said to him, switch your torches off. Dave says, why? I says, because we're going to creep up the farm track and hopefully we're going to scare them and catch it on camera or vice versa. So we all agreed, we walked up the track, and when we got close to the house, there was some quite thick bushes either side of the driveway, And it was in between these bushes on the driveway, there must have been quite a deep pothole that Mr. Delighted Dave tripped in, nearly went arse over head, and it gave the game away. There was a bit of a commotion, and all of a sudden all the lights went off. Now, we never seen anyone again. Now, I think what happened was they went into the farmhouse and hid from us. Then when we went into the farmhouse, they went out the back door, which is a bit of a utility room area. And then I think they hung about in the farmyard, because whilst I was recording, I could actually hear footsteps outside, but I just carried on. I thought, well, they're obviously waiting for us to go. But I'll tell you now, it was so eerie because you knew someone were there. And it, you know, it was one of them places, the wind was rattling through the place as well. There were no glass in the windows whatsoever. So all the curtains were moving, as you're going to see. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go and have a nosy. But I tell you now, there's nothing more like spooky and puts you on edge when you know there's someone there, when you can't see them, especially at night when you're in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, it were a laugh if anything else. Come on, let's go and have a nosy. Right then, everyone. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I cannot see you, Steve. Well, there is good reason for that. We don't want no light at the minute because we've actually arrived at our location. It's quite exciting, this is. We're in the middle of nowhere, 60 odd miles away from Leicestershire. Now, we've turned up somewhere and we think there's someone exploring this place. It's either that or something else is going off, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah.
We've seen torches from a distance, so...
We've seen a van as well parked in the same lay-by as his.
Yeah. So, I'm going to stop recording now and then we'll try and show you a bit more when we get there. It's quite exciting, this is. Right, so we have arrived at our destination and we know we're not alone here either, but we might as well just do it, to be honest with you. But we're outside at the minute, as you can see. Really old Land Rover there in front of you. Really old tractor there, covered in undergrowth. I say we'll go in there. If there's anyone in there, they're in there, aren't they? Yeah, well, we don't know. Anyone could be here, couldn't they? I suppose if there is someone here, we'll see them. Right, shall we go in?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Well, if there is anyone here, we're about to meet them. What is it?
Can you hear it? Someone's moving around in there.
I say let's go in.
Yeah.
I think there is someone in there. Let's have a look. Wow, look at this in here, look. Look at that piano. Amazing.
This is nuts that it's left like this.
I know, you couldn't...
curtain in.
It amazes me how they left like it. Come on, Dave. Wow. So freaky in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Why? Why are these places ending up like this, Steve?
It's absolutely nuts. They just get left.
It's ridiculous. Vera Lynn. Anatomica. Mad. I'm glad we came here at night. Interesting though, isn't it, Dave?
I'm still waiting for someone to jump out.
I know, I'm... Yeah, look what we've got down here. Crikey. An old farm like this, left to ruin. I don't know, it amazes me. I say it every time I come to a place like this. It's because there's so many people homeless and, you know, we've got places like this rotting away in really bad condition. I'm just trying to see what the date is on this actually, but hold on. Sunday Telegraph, price 30p, 1984, May the 20th. I wasn't even born then. I wasn't even born, I was born in September the 26th, if anyone wants to get me a birthday card this year. White officer tells off hooded torture in Zimbabwe. Well, you heard it here first. Merchant ship sunk by Iraq in Gulf War. Same old shit, different era. Right. utility room in here by the looks of it. It's so creepy here, trust me. It is so creepy at night. And like I say, I'm not certain. We're sure, we know there were lights here. There was a van parked in the lay-by where we parked. So, we've not been upstairs yet. No one dare go up, do they? Is it down to me? Have I got to go up?
Yeah, I can go up if you want me to.
Oh, go on, let me do it. You're putting on a brave face, aren't you? Just before I do, I've got here. I like a good book. Fear of Flying. At the minute, it's Fear of Going Upstairs, isn't it? Erica Young. Flight of the Intruder. Yeah, about writing all of it tonight. Look, they're falling about everywhere. What are you doing, Stephen? Sorry, I'm talking to myself in the third person. Right, shall we do it? Right. God, it's so big. There's all sorts of crap in here, isn't there? Go watch where you're walking. You always get old sewing machines in these places because you're out in the sticks, aren't you? And yeah, this is an era when people lived here that people were doing stuff for themselves, you know. Not like this day and age. Philosophy, 100 essential thinkers. I must be in there, you know, somewhere, I reckon. Onwards and upwards. Sneaking about, you know what I mean? There's a model aircraft in here, look. Look at that. Wow, wasn't expecting to see that. There's a model aircraft in here, like some sort of glider. I'm sure I've seen lights outside when we were coming up that driveway. They were definitely inside this building. I've seen the torches moving. So whoever was here, they could be outside, to be honest. What's that?
Not us.
Was that you?
No.
You joking?
No, it's that door there.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's the wind, isn't it? There is a bit of a gale coming through here. Yeah, so we have got a bar now that's been coming in here because we've got owl pellets everywhere, but Child Star, Shirley Temple. There's definitely someone on this site, mate. 100%. Yeah, oh.
That would creep you out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
No, that door, the wind's blowing that door.
There was someone here, Dave, because them lights were moving. I know torches when I see them. So I don't know if we've scared them off or what. They're probably in this end bloody room.
Wallpapered over the door.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Crazy. Bloody hell, I wonder what that was then.
Yeah.
Hey?
It's absolutely mad.
Well, yeah, I mean, how long's that been hung there like that? This is going to fall through soon, this ceiling. Look at that. Wow. To be honest with you people, I'm trying to watch where I'm standing because it's not in the best condition. Yeah, another model aircraft wing there by the looks of it, I think, is it?
There's a box for a little bit here. False order like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there were definite...
Oh, no, they're capacitors, though.
Oh, right. Well, someone who lived here was a model aircraft enthusiast, anyway.
Yeah, these are plans for an airplane.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
Super marine.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Let's get it open.
Very interesting, that. Still an old jacket or something in there, eh?
There's a capacitors, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Design and construction of flying models
Are the flux capacitors?
Look at them all. Yeah,
know.
capacitors and resistors.
Yeah, there's no end of stuff in here as well. Thunderbolt. We went to something similar a while back, didn't we? There's no glass in the window anymore. But the thing is, we could be being watched now. This ain't for effect, folks. There was somebody here before we got here. I heard voices and I seen torchlight. It wasn't distant light, it was torchlight. That's why I didn't have no light on when we got here when I was talking to you, so we don't know who's out there. There was a van parked where we're parked, a few hundred yards from here, with no one in there, so, and we're not near any other houses either, so there's a good gale coming in here as well. It's got a bit windy. Joe Lost plays all the time, party hits. Look at this here. Yeah. And again, you know, we've got a seat here, it's telling a story. Someone used to sit in here at night, they'd settle down, maybe, you know, maybe play this piano. You know, play it better than one of them's doing in there, that's for sure. Yeah, someone sat there reading a book once, probably not all that long ago. And now it's in this sorry state. It makes me a bit sad, if I'm honest with you. It really does. Look at that. Very sad. Very sad, Dave.
Feel sorry for the piano.
The New Seekers.
Well, in tune as well.
Well, there's 3 of them, isn't there?
This is an organ.
Is it?
Pipe organ.
All right, that's interesting. The big book of wicked text messages. What's that about? Emoticons. I mean, how old's this? Face it, on the following pages you will find some basic emotions to use in your messages. Am I really reading this? Cracking up. Wetting myself. I'm in stitches. Tickle pink. This is mad. What's going on? What do you reckon, Dave? Do you want a viewing? You want to book a viewing? Yeah. What are we doing?
Who lives in a house like this?
David, it's over to you.
Who lives in a house like this?
In fact, what's this here? Some sort of fertiliser. It's spilt out the bag by the looks of it. But really old Land Rover here as well. Really old this is. Bloody elephant. What was they? Sodding pigeon. Yeah, look at that. You know, I bet if you put the key in there, it'd still turn over, you know. Right, so the other 2 are about 90 yards, 100 yards behind me. It's so creepy out here, like I say, this ain't for effect. Someone was here when we got here, 100%. Got a really old Citroen here, look. Really old, I've seen better days, for certain. Look at that, you always find these sort of cars, don't you, on old farms and what have you. Wow, really old spraying machine here, look. Look at that. Keep hearing things. Yeah, really old spraying machine there. Again, very expensive piece of kit when that was built. Wow, look at that old Saab there. This is nice. Oh, bollocks. Yeah, I like this. Combi coupe. Yeah, that's nice. Well, it's not now, is it? It's in a bit of a shithole now, but look at that. Right, so the pissed up priest, he's just gone up there and got really excited about that old Saab. He loves cars. So we've got a really old seed drill here. Now this is an old one. Who's it made by? Denning. Very old. And yeah, so your seeds would have actually gone in these compartments here, I think. But there's another one through there, look. You see it? I ain't going to go over there. Wow, so I think I've just found an old Caterpillar tractor here, look. Beautiful, look at that. I don't know if Dave's seen this, actually. Just heard something then. Look at this. Is it a cat? I'm not sure. Not sure. Ah, it even smells like an old tractor engine. Diesel, dirty diesel. Oh, that's lovely, that is. Get something else here as well, I'm not sure what that is. Ah, it's an International, it's not a cat. International, look. See it on the back, just above where it says diesel. It's nice, that. Really enjoy these old tractors. I've never worked on a farm in my life, but I just really love out like this, you know. Beautiful. Late at night. Right, well, unfortunately that concludes this evening's video, and I'll tell you now, someone was definitely at that farm. There was a point where I was stood on my own in one of the rooms and I could hear someone shuffling a few yards away, not directly next to the house, but near it. Now, what would have been cool is if we'd have got there and we'd have actually bumped into them, or they'd have made us jump. That's what I was hoping for, to be honest with you. Dave was shitting himself, bless him. You're all right. You got me and Steve here, two big burly lads. At the end of the day, whoever they were, they probably thought, shit, who's this coming down the drive? I mean, we kept light minimal, but we couldn't see where we were going. But it was so creepy. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you very soon at the next one. Anything else to add, Davey?
No, brilliant night. Bit spooky, very tense.
Yeah, weren't it just?
The curtains blowing in the windows were just something else.
Yeah, they really were.
Weren't they, Steve?
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, really good. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, and there we go. Was he Frit? I asked myself. Sounds like he could have been Little Frit. Little Frit. There you go, Steve. And as you can see by all the comments, Steve, they love you. They love you. They really, really do. And like I say, plenty of stuff in there for bangers and cash. That's the only thing with the Yesterday channel at the moment. Unfortunately, in my opinion, on Yesterday, every time you put it on, bangers and cash. So I've started calling it the Bangers and Cash channel because it's always on. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fascinating programme, but why do they have to go mad on one thing all the time? There you go. Anyway, listen, we're almost at the end of the broadcast. I can hear the cheers from now. I can hear the cheers. I can hear the clapping. Oh, thank goodness for that. He's really cocked up tonight, hasn't he? Yeah. Guilty, Your Honour. Guilty as charged, yes. The technical issues was with the operator tonight. The equipment's been fine. It's this prat. However, but before we go, of course, we've got to do answers to 6 of the best. Now, before we get there, remember, I will read the question and we'll see who comes back with the correct answer tonight. Okay. So then, let me just get to the appropriate bit. Here we go. So we're going to start with question 1. Who can answer this question for me? What did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? Let's see if anybody can give me the right answer in the chat room at the moment. Just a minute, I think there's a little bit of activity happening. What did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? And David Allen says, shops? No. Dennis Perkins, original name? Well, not really. No, something a little bit more than that. Yeah. Julie Jeffcott just complimenting Mr. Nosy with that one. That's good. Right, if I'll give it a couple more moments, then I'll give you the answer. So what did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? It. Public conveniences. Daniel Coburn. Honestly, give yourself a good talking to. Give yourself a slap and go to the back. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer then now. Now, believe it or not, what did Princess Road, Duke Street lose, but Charles Street and Victoria Street kept? Well, I'll tell you what it was. Dead ends. Think of hairstyles. Think of your hair. Now, Princess Road used to be a dead-end street. If you're a Dangerous Den will confirm this. Princess Road was a dead-end street. Duke Street, which is now Southfield Road, was also a dead-end street. Right? But Charles Street, Victoria Street were dead ends in their own rights, you see? There you go. You've learnt something tonight. So they lost their dead ends. Okay. I was thinking of split ends actually when I said about hair. Sorry, I was thinking split ends. But anyway, now then, so that is what I was looking for. So no one has got question 1 right, which means no one's going to get 6 tonight. So let's see how you do with question number 2. Now, only 2 mammals enjoy spicy foods: humans and, is it pangolin, armadillo, or a tree shrew? Let's just see. Let's just see who's going to come forward with the right one. Jane Brown, congratulations. Yes, she's right. It's a tree shrew. Now you can tell that Jane works in a school. Only a school teacher would know that. Well done indeed. Yes, that's something else. There's 2 things you've learned tonight from the quiz. A tree shrew is the only other one that likes spicy foods along ourselves. Daniel Coburn said, a tree shrew to guess. Yes, all right. Moving on to question 3. Now, a snail can sleep for up to 1 month. Is that true or is it false? Well, let's just see who comes in, and let's just see then. This might surprise you, actually. Let's just see. Right then. Jane says false. Let's just see. I'm just holding it back a moment. Daniel says false. David Allen says false. You are correct, it's false, because some snails can sleep up to 3 years. Can you believe that? Some snails can sleep up, so yes, it's true they can sleep up to a month, yeah, but actually, but they can sleep up to 3 years. Can you believe that, eh? Yes. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. Food rationing in Britain ended when the restrictions on the sale of purchase of meat was lifted. But what year was it? 52, 53 or 54? Some of my listeners and viewers should know the answer to this. Daniel Coburn said, them snails are eating my plants every night. Russet comes in with 54. Jane comes in with 54. That is also correct. Well done. John Denny, 54. Dennis Perkins, 54. You see, these guys remember. They remember there. Yeah, so that's it. So I go over to where in Hinckley. Now, before I show you where it is, let's just see if anybody knows just by looking at that. I've got a feeling John Denny might know this. But there again, if he's got his head in his book. Paul, don't mention that book. Yeah, I think I got away with it, Mrs. G. I think I got away with it. But just don't mention the book. Right, okay. Right, not sure on this, says Daniel Coburn. David Allen says Castle Street. No, it's not. We've not got Castle Street. And, well, John Dennett. Oh, John Dennett. No, I haven't looked for it tonight. Oh, dear. Jane says, Jane, you're going to like this because she said fascinating, but I have no idea. If I told you it was just round the corner from you, Jane, you'll go, really? Let me show you where I am. Here is where I am, look. I'm in Upper Bond Street. The picture is an old picture, but there it is. Right in the middle of the picture, you see that column there, right in the middle by the gutter line. Look, there it is. We are right by the gin distillery that it is today, the old Sydney Brocklehurst factory in Upper Bond Street. That is where we were. And like I say, that column in the middle of the picture you can see by the gutter is indeed that very bit just there. So I bet you'll be going, Jane, you'll be going around to have a look at that. You'll see. Yeah, woo, you see she's put, oh, well, I never. Oh dear. Right, okay then. Yeah, John Dennett, I was too busy watching the nosy. He's got an excuse for everything, that man, isn't he? Too busy watching the nosy. Right, on to the anagram. I don't know what the emblem's for, by the way, John. I will be honest there. It's a bit curious, isn't it? Here's the anagram. Fetch Taurus tachometer. We were looking for a pub in a village not far from Hinckley. And like I said, if you get the village, you get the pub. It's as simple as that. In comes David Blower straight away. The Heathcote Arms in Croft. Yes. Well done. Well done. So put your scores in now, ladies and gentlemen. We know that. Thank you. We know that there is not 6 people. Yes. Okay. All right. Oh, they do keep going, don't they? Right, Daniel Coburn says 2 for me tonight. This is very enthusiastic. Just 2 for me tonight, says Daniel Coburn. Russet said, I hadn't an idea. Never mind. Let's see how many you got. David Allen said, I've only got 1 tonight, Paul. Doesn't matter, David. You've had a go. So well done. Oh, Dennis Perkins, a sad one. Jane Brown, 3 for us tonight. Well done, Jane. 3's the highest score so far. You're tying with John Denny. Jeff Wallace says a big 0 for him. Oh, dear. But Russet says, well, at least I'm keeping my usual 1 form. Yes, I understand what she means there. But well done, Russet, as well. So far, we've got 3s going. And Hunt said zilch. Well, it's different from 0, isn't it? Dave B said, only 1 the grammar. And Elaine said, I only got 1 this week as well. So it looks like a tie between John Denny and Jane Brown at the moment. Queen B only got 2. Oh, I am surprised tonight. I thought they were really easy tonight. I'm sorry, I did. I mean, I know I make these things. Yes, we've put the screen on. I really do. I really do think that they're easy, but of course I know the answers. But there again, I think, well, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Obviously not, but still, there we go. So that's 6 of the best for this week. And of course, if you enjoyed it, we'll come back next Sunday night. We'll do it all again. As we say in pantomime, we'll have to do it again then, shan't we? But ultimately, that's the end of the programme tonight. Now, like I say, for viewers that have stayed this far, you'll know the fun we've had tonight with all the cock-ups, like me. But also, as I say, it doesn't normally go like that. Normally, I can blame it on a bit of equipment or the software, but no, this software up here was pressing buttons that he shouldn't have done, but still, there we go. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it. Kath Denny's going. Look, she says, oh, great one, great night, Paul, thank you, and she's gone. Just like that. I hope you've enjoyed it, and like I say, we'll have to just remember we are scanning on Saturday morning, but equally so, don't forget that our social night, I want as many people to come to this as possible, please. It's going to be a great night, a double bill. Please come, otherwise I'm going to look very silly sitting there all on my own, okay? So I'll look forward to that a week of Wednesday. Oh, good grief. And in the meantime, to remember to keep it HDPP, to keep it live. Until next Sunday, take care. Ta-da. Hello. Well, you are clever, you are. This is the part of the programme we don't tell anybody else about. And you have to know to stay on a little bit so you can see this. Mind you probably wish you hadn't now. This is the part of the programme we like to send you off with a bit of a chortle, a bit of a laugh, to send you to bed. And you can lie in bed going, those jokes are terrible. No, you're supposed to lie in bed going, that was a good little joke, that. I could always hope. Anyway, right now, let's get down to it. A few dad jokes to send you off for a little laugh. Here we go then. So then, got them all written down here, look. Right then, what's the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle? A tyre. A tyre! Come on! Come on! I thought that was a good one. Where do pirates get their hooks? Second-hand stores. Of all the inventions of the last 100 years, the dry erase board has to be the most remarkable. These are going, they're good. We're on fire. We're on fire tonight. What do you call a line of men waiting to get haircuts? A barbecue? But on a more serious note, in fact, if you sneer at any other method of measuring liquids, you may be held in contempt of court. I know. I'm not finished yet. I was playing chess with my friend and he said, let's make this more interesting. So we stopped playing chess. One you've probably heard before. I was in a job interview the other day and they asked me if I could perform under pressure. I said no, but I could perform Bohemian Rhapsody. Two left. Here we go. Today, I'm attaching a light to the ceiling, but I'm afraid I'll probably screw it up. Love it. And finally, I hate it when people say age is only a number. Age is clearly a word. And there you have it. And on that note, take care. See you soon. Bye.